Hello, all of you risk takers and truth seekers to podcast Live the Battlefield. Today, we're going to talk about spy who created so much problems, so much issues, so much damage and embarrassment to United States government. His name is Raymond Garcia. Hold on, you don't know him by that name. His name is Robert Hansen. And Robert Hansen, together with Anna Montes, he created a havoc in intelligence community in US, simultaneously with Aldrich Ames as well. So let's go dig deep into today's conversation. Let's go analyze who was Raymond Garcia, Robert Hansen, and why Robert Hansen becomes the top spy for the Russians. But before we go into this, I'd like to share something with you. The quote I was being told on Intelligence Academy, so I'm sharing this with you. To be a spy, you must be the man of integrity. However, you must be prepared to be a criminal as well. Now, let's go talk about Robert Hansen. Robert Hansen was one of the very famous cases we were studying on Intelligence Academy. Particularly, it's coming from United States. Well, his pseudonym name was Raymond Garcia. And as well, one more tip. Robert Hansen, together with Aldrich Ames. Robert Hansen was working in FBI, Aldrich Ames in CIA. They betrayed a 25 years long relationship between the Russia top spy spying for the CIA and US government, Dmitry Polyakov. They both catch up with Dmitry Polyakov, who becomes the informant for the Americans in 1961. Now let's go dig deep into this topic. Robert Hansen. Robert Hansen's secret name is known as Raymond Garcia. He's a former FBI, to those who don't know, Federal Bureau of Investigation agent who rose to prominence as a notorious double agent for the intelligence services of the Soviet Union and subsequently the Russia itself. He looked to be one of the most dangerous spies to infiltrate the FBI, potentially resulting in the worst intelligence disaster in US history, along with Aldrich Ames and Anna Montes. He was born in Chicago, Illinois on April 18, 1944. His father was a Chicago police detective. You see how the things progressing from family tree? So his father was a police detective, frequently emotionally and physically abused him. So he abused his son. His long-term abuse not only destroyed his childhood, but also haunted him through his way of life. He went from William Howard Taft High School in 1962 and then registered at the Knox College in Galesburg, Illinois, where he graduated in 1966 in what? In chemistry major. The Russian language for him was an elective topic, so it was not compulsory. Due to budget constraints, his application to the National Security Agency for the post of cryptographer was denied. So he wanted to work for the National Security Agency. And as I mentioned this before, it's not you applying for the job. They find you. They find the way that you come to intelligence agency itself. Now, he married Bernadette Bonnie Walk, a devoted Catholic, in 1968. His wife taught religion at Oakcrest. He subsequently converted from Lutheranism to Catholicism. Hansen were members of the Catholic Fraternal Society, better known Opus Dei. He has a lot of children, 6. And all 6 of his children attended Opus Dei affiliated schools. When Bonnie discovered his spying, he pretended to be Opus Dei priest, gave money to Catholic charity, and vowed never to spy again. Hansen then enrolled at the Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois, to study something different from chemistry, to study dentistry, but shifted to business after 3 years. He received his master's degree in business administration, in accounting, and computer systems in 1971. So he shifted and he got the degree in accounting and computer systems in 1971. He worked for an accounting company for a year before being elected to the Chicago Police Department. So now he's following his father's footsteps. Hansen worked as an internal affairs investigator, focusing in forensic accounting at the company. He was tasked with questioning police personnel suspected of corruption. Can you imagine in those days, 1970s, to do this? In January 1976, he entered the FBI after about 5 years. Then he was appointed to FBI field office in Gary, Indiana the same year and was reassigned to its New York field office in 1978. Then he was transferred to counterintelligence section the following year, where he was tasked with organizing Soviet intelligence data. He was tasked to do this. In 1979, he approached Soviet Military Intelligence Agency, better known as a GRU, offering his services as a spy agent. For those who don't know, GRU, it's a military intelligence service. And I do remember when I was in school, we learned quite a lot. GRU has a spetsnaz, special services, sabotaging, assassination squads, and it was established in 1917 in a day revolution days when they toppled down the emperor of the Russia and the Lenin started revolution. GRU never changed his shape, size and form except 2010 they lost one letter in the acronym, so they call it GU, but they are military intelligence services and still everybody knows them as a GRU. GRU was always competing with KGB, while KGB was in 60s start diverting towards external and internal enemies. GRU was always looking to look foreign countries. Let's go back to Hansen. He passed on information about FBI surveillance operation as well as information about suspected Soviet intelligence spies to the GRU. So he approached GRU. The most important information he gave was about Dmitry Polyakov, as I said before. Dmitry Polyakov was a Soviet army general who spied for the American CIA while serving in the Soviet army. Now, I'll come back to later to Dmitry Polyakov, but he was the one who passed Russians information about their own general who spied for American CIA. And Dmitry Polyakov was a part of GRU. So don't forget, he was a top dog in Russian intelligence military service. And he was spying for Americans. 20 years later, and plus, it was a Hansen who betrayed Polyakov. Now, in 1981, he was assigned to the FBI budget unit, so-called budget unit, at its headquarters in Washington, D.C. So what was his job? His job was in the Vienna suburbs, entailed electronic surveillance and wiretapping, giving him greater access to the FBI's various activities. After 3 years, he was assigned to the Soviet Analytical Unit, which thoroughly investigated, located, and apprehended Soviet agents in the United States. After being transferred to the New York field office in 1985, he continued his counterintelligence duties. Don't forget, counterintelligence. So he was looking for the problems within his own organization, and he was giving all this to the Russians. On October 1, 1985, he sent an unsigned letter to the KGB, identifying at last 3 KGB agents who were covertly serving the FBI. Guess what he was paid? He got paid $5 million and got jewelry for his efforts. $5 million. Now, take a consideration that in 80s, I know, and I was in Yugoslavia then, living and working. Russia was on a brink of collapse, economic collapse. Every country in Eastern Europe. But Russians, they found the money to pay him $5 million and jewelry for that job alone. Can you imagine that? How much was that worth to the Russians? Hansen, he had authorized access to classified information because he held important counterintelligence positions. What he did, he provided intelligence to the KGB and its successor agency they call SVR, using encrypted communications or dead drops and other clandestine methods. The information he provided jeopardized numerous human sources, counterintelligence methods, investigations, dozens of classified US government papers, and high-value technical operations. Now, the problem for this is following. Hansen was a guy who was supposed to look for the problems in his own department, in FBI. Counterintelligence, that's what counterintelligence does. They look at the problems inside their own house. Intelligence is me going from my house to your house. And nobody questioning his loyalty. Hansen remained undetected for years. Do you know why? Due to his expertise and training as a counterintelligence operative. Despite some of his unusual activities raising suspicions from time to time. Nonetheless, he was not recognized as a spy. Now, I mentioned this guy at the beginning, Aldrich Ames. Following the arrest of Aldrich Ames in the 1990s, the FBI and CIA discovered that the mole with the intelligence community was still sharing secret information with the Russians. The agency originally focused on a veteran CIA case officer, because Aldrich Ames was 30 years plus in CIA, who was under investigation for nearly 2 years. Now, in 2000, the FBI and CIA were able to obtain original Russian documentation of American spy who looked to be Hansen. The investigation that followed confirmed this opinion. So that stage was just opinion. Now, this became interesting. Hansen was about to resign, and investigators needed to act quickly. The aim was to catch Hansen in espionage red-handed, which means handling, giving documents, talking to the Russian counterparts, and the list goes on. At the time of the allegations, Hansen was working as a detailee for the Department of State Office of Foreign Missions. Hansen was removed from his temporary post and returned to FBI headquarters according to FBI leadership. That was a red flag. Neil Gallagher, assistant director of the National Security Division at the time, what he did, he contacted Hansen to tell him of a phony assignment to serve on his staff as a special assistant. For what? For technology project in order to get Hansen back to FBI headquarters where he could be closely watched. So he told him. By February 2001, approximately 300 people were working on the inquiry and keeping an eye on Hansen. 300 people on one guy. Hansen movements were tracked from the time he left his residence in Fairfax County, Virginia, until he returned home at night, and was determined that he was still an active spy. Then, on July 6, 2001, Hansen pled guilty to 15 charges of espionage. On May 10, 2002, he was condemned to life prison without the possibility of parole. Now, aside from clear material interest, it appears that Hansen has strong personal motivations for accepting the most difficult of all espionage jobs, such as double agent work. Double agent. However, unlike his renowned British predecessor. And of course, role model, Kim Philby. Hansen was not Russophile in traditional sense. Kim Philby was. He merely desired to realize a childhood ambition. That's all what he did. He wanted to realize his childhood ambition. According to his correspondence with his contacts, whom he never encountered in person, Hansen betrayed his fatherland, not so much because of coupled as a strange need for personal and emotional fulfillment, despite the fact that he never met the individuals he wrote to. The majority of his letters were addressed to dear friend. Dmitry Polyakov was executed. At that moment, Ronald Reagan was playing the case with Mikhail Gorbachev to spare Dmitry Polyakov. Gorbachev politely denied while they were shaking hands in Switzerland. Robert Hansen causes so much damage to the intelligence community, and I will address this in the comment section below. What lessons intelligence community learn from Robert Hansen? There's a few steps, there are a few points, very powerful, which you can apply as well into your organization. Interesting enough, Robert Hansen, he gave himself a secret name. Why is that? They say he was not Russophile, but somehow he was looking forward to be recognized as a part of this, how to call, romantic session. I want to be like you guys, but I don't want to be like you guys. Robert Hansen, he was a spy who betrayed many Russians who were working for American intelligence community. Thank you for watching Live the Battlefield Mario. Feel free to subscribe, share, like, and comment. By leaving the comments, we can learn from each other much more better. Thank you.